Well, among those performing at this evening's concert for Aung San Suu Kyi in Dublin is Bono of U2. As one of her long-time supporters, he travelled with her from Norway this afternoon. When we spoke earlier, I asked Bono what it meant to be able to welcome her to Dublin.
Oh, we're so humbled, aren't we? I mean, the whole nation. It's an amazing thing to have her here in Dublin. And I'm also, in terms of the U2 tour, and indeed the U2 audience that have been campaigning for her release for over 10 years now, it's a big deal for anyone who's shown an interest in her situation, and a vindication. I mean, there's a lot of work for her to do, and that country is not across the line by any means yet. But today, I think everyone's allowing themselves some optimism. Dosu calls it cautious optimism, but it's just a great thing that she came to Dublin, Ireland. She is, literally, she's got ridiculous demands on her schedule and wanted to do this, wanted to thank the Irish people, wanted to thank Amnesty and the U2 audience.
She is a quite extraordinary individual. I mean, people perhaps are aware that she could have left Burma at any stage during her imprisonment, and she didn't. In your own song about her, I think you talked about her. I don't know if it was her you're talking about, but yes, you made a reference to one who she could have flown away. She was in this open cage.
Yeah, they left the door open, but she could have left but never returned. And we spent today a little bit, she talked very fondly about Michael, her husband, and the impertinence of writing a song like that. It's not literal, but I tried to write it from the point of view of him, and that shows you her steeliness, though, as well as this sort of elegance and grace. There's quite a resolve there, and she, I think, even in their letters as they were falling in love and planning to get married, she said, there's just nothing will separate us, but if this comes up that I have to do for my country, you know that I will.
You've been talking to her. You travelled back with her from the UK this afternoon. The support that that was expressed to her by people here in Ireland and indeed around the world, how important was that for her in this long struggle?
It was quite a conversation over the day, and spent most of the day with her today, and we talked Michael Collins, we talked Liz Adele, the Countess Markievicz, that house, the Gore Booths, one of whom introduced her to her husband at Oxford, and of course Amnesty. She's very aware that Amnesty played a huge role in keeping her case before the public. And these military juntas, it's hard to believe, but they check their email. They're vain. It's not just muscle. They're very much aware of how far they can push the public, and the boos and hisses actually matter to them. You think they're impervious, they're not. And people should. Amnesty is a really effective organisation in that regard.